Tonight, unite for victory in the 2023 election. The president urges members of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC restates commitments to ensuring free, fair and credible elections next year. Trust me to meet your demands. Presidential candidate of the PDP, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, appeals to natives of Abuja as it takes his campaign to the Federal Capital Territory. INEC continues engagement with civil society organizations, cautions against hate speech and fake news. And US says Iran, now Russia's top military backer, says both countries are considering joint production of lethal drones.
On business news tonight, the NGX All-Share Index rises 1.51% week to date, closing positive for the fourth consecutive week, its best winning streak since May.
And on sports news tonight, celebrations in Rabat and Casablanca as Morocco become the first African country to reach the semi-finals of the World Cup after beating Portugal at Al Tumama Stadium in Doha.
It's an advice from the president to members of his party, the All Progressives Congress, to close ranks and cooperate with one another if they wish to be victorious in the coming elections. President Muhammadu Buhari offered the counsel when he received the APC governorship candidate of his home state, Katsina, Mr. Diko Rada, and his running mate, Farouk Jobe, at his residence in Dora. According to a press statement by the president's media aide, Mr. Garba Shehu, the president was also delighted with reports he says he has received on the ongoing campaigns in the state. He then restated his commitments to free, fair and credible elections in 2023. Meanwhile, the president will tomorrow, December the 11th, depart for Washington, USA to join other African leaders at the United States Africa Leaders Summit. According to Mr. Shehu, the high-level meeting, which will hold from December the 13th to the 15th, is at the instance of U.S. President Joe Biden, who is poised to strengthen U.S.-Africa relations. Meanwhile, the campaigns are in top gear, and in Gombe State, the All Progressives Congress says it is confident of victory in the 2023 elections. Governor Inuwayaya made the declaration at the official flag-off of the state governorship campaign in Gombe, the state capital. Also at the rally was the national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu, who received some defectors into the party.
From the 114 wards in Gombe State, members of the All Progressives Congress gather at the Pantami Stadium in the heart of the state capital. Governor Inuwayaya arrives the ground in the company of the national chairman of the party amidst a rousing welcome. The APC in Gombe State is basking in positive energy following the gale of defections from the People's Democratic Party. The national chairman of the party, Mr. Abdullahi Adamu, welcomes the newcomers into the APC family.
APC!
He also presented the party's flag to candidates for various positions for the 2023 general elections. Speaking in Hausa, he urges the people to ensure the party returns to power in 2023. Governor Yahaya plans to build on his achievements in the 3.5 years.
We have no fear, Mr. Chairman. Coming through Gombe town, you saw for yourselves. You saw for yourselves what the APC has achieved. You saw happiness on the faces of our people, and you saw happiness in the eyes of the general public. We've been able to deliver on our promises. We've been able to deliver on our manifesto. 99.9% of what we promised would have achieved, and that was people are confident and they will follow us to the next battlefront. 2023, God willing, is going to be APC all through, from head to toe.
The governor urges party members to take the campaign to all the wards in the state and bring victory to the party.
In the meantime, candidates at the national level continued to crisscross the country to garner support ahead of next year's polls. And today, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, took his campaigns to the nation's capital, Abuja. At the Eagle Square venue of the campaign, Mr. Abubakar assured natives of the Federal Capital Territory that if they support him to win the presidential election, the Constitution will be amended to accommodate the entitlement due to them. But this was in response to some of the demands made by the indigenous people of the FCT.
The campaign trail of the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party is in the nation's capital to seek for the support of the people ahead of the 2023 general elections. The party is confident of winning all the seats in the Federal Capital Territory.
It's not surprising. Abuja FCT is PDP and PDP is FCT. We saw that in the last elections. So what it shows is that the last elections were not a flop in Abuja.
Today, every index in this economy is going downward. The only man that will take it back upward, the way he did it before, he has done it before. He was in the saddle for 8 years as the chairman of the National Economic Council. Is who? Is who?
Popularly referred to as the landlord of the FCT, the senator representing the FCT, Senator Philip Aduda, brings the demands of the FCT natives.
The people of the FCT want to be part of government. The people of the FCT want a representation at the Federal Executive Council. The people of the FCT want a second tier of governance, if you call it mayor, whatever you call it. But we want a second tier of government so that when the people are voting for their state house of assembly, will also be voting. When the people are voting for their governor, will also be voting.
And the presidential candidate promises he will deliver on their demands.
What you have demanded, which requires constitutional review, we assure you we will support that review to make sure your aspirations are protected or are guaranteed in our new constitution. Also, when we have pledged to restructure this country, in the process of restructuring, we shall give you all what you are demanding. It is nothing new that cannot be done.
The party appears optimistic of its chances of winning the Federal Capital Territory, and it has never lost an election in the FCT since 1999.
And as the political parties and the electorate gear up for the 2023 general elections, the spread of fake news and disinformation is a major concern for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and members of civil society. INEC's chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Festus Okoye, raised the concern at a meeting with journalists and civil society organizations in Abuja. Also on that list is hate speech, which he says constitutes a direct threat to the peaceful conduct of the 2023 elections.
This media roundtable is to brainstorm on how to mitigate the effect of fake news, hate speech, and disinformation in the 2023 general elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is represented by the Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Festus Okoye, who begins the conversation with an update on the Commission's preparations for the forthcoming general elections. However, there are concerns, and this time, it's the spread of fake news and disinformation.
Elections often tend to exacerbate the artificial divisions within the complex socio-cultural, ethnic, political and religious environment in Nigeria. The proclivity for hate speech and fake news by the political elite and political parties constitutes a direct threat to the conduct of peaceful election in Nigeria. In the run-up to the 2023 general election, inciting the population through hate speech and purveyance must be condemned by all and sundry. The political elite must be made to play the game according to the rules and avoid intemperate speeches and statements that are capable of inciting violence.
Fake news and misinformation can be potent tools for electoral violence. Hence, some of the participants are appealing to journalists to always fact-check their news sources.
There's a danger I will take over the show of Festus. So let me just conclude with one point as we move into discussing what this new world has in store for our country as the elections come. We should always remember the very high capacity that exists in this country for manipulation. In this country today, whatever you hear, go and verify.
It's less than 3 months to the 2023 general elections. Many here are hoping that conversations such as this will help make the exercise peaceful and credible.
We'll take a break from election matters and turn our attention to the aviation sector, where Nigerian travelers may have to pay more for domestic flights during the Yuletide season, as the increasing cost of Jet A1 and scarce foreign exchange impacts heavily on the sector. But perhaps one factor that may play to the advantage of passengers is a deepening of aircraft seat capacity, as most airlines have acquired planes for their December and January operations. Our aviation correspondent, Bukola Joe Kitumbi, reports.
The airside of the local airport on a busy day. No wonder air transport is described as an important enabler to achieving economic growth. As the Yuletide approaches, it appears that Nigerians traveling by air may be in for one of the most expensive pricing regimes in local airfares. This is because airfares have been on the increase in the last few months, owing to scarcity of foreign exchange and the increasing cost of Jet A1, among other factors.
The solution here is for the government to see a way to, helping us to access foreign exchange at affordable rates. All this importation of aviation fuel will never solve anything. This is a country that sits on oil. I don't see the reason why we should be importing PMS and Jet A1 fuel.
Airfares are greatly impacted by the twin factors. On the booking sites of some of the airlines, return fares, especially on the Lagos-Abuja and Abuja-Lagos, averages between 130,000 naira and 170,000 naira, depending on the day and time. Passengers also attest to this.
The price ticket is very high, and not many people can afford the price ticket right now. So the government should do something about it.
I bought economy class for 100,000 naira, just for coming, and almost the same price going back.
With airfares climbing, one good development is that aircraft paucity, which was the situation early in the year, is now giving way as local operators are now acquiring aircraft to meet high passenger demand during the Yuletide, when passenger traffic more than doubles that of the previous months.
There is a surge in waitlist aircraft, so there will be a lot of flights. And I'm very happy for that, because that will mean that the flying public will not have to pay a lot of money as they used to, because there are a lot of capacity.
As many prepare to travel into the interland during the Christmas and New Year celebrations, one other factor passengers may contend with is the issue of delays and cancellations, as the Nigerian Meteorological Agency has put airline operators and travelers under alert for the likely impact of Harmattan haze and air turbulence. Bukola Joe Oketumbi, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, 2 people reported killed and a police van burned during an attack in Enugu State, as police repel attacks on 2 local government areas in Zamfara State. But that's in a moment. Stay with us. You're welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television, Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Unite for victory in 2023. The President urges members of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC restates commitment to ensuring free, fair and credible elections next year. Trust me to meet your demands. Presidential candidate of the PDP, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, appeals to natives of Abuja as he takes his campaign to the Federal Capital Territory. INEC continues engagement with civil society organizations, cautions against hate speech and fake news. And US says Iran now Russia's top military backer, says both countries are considering joint production of lethal drones. To security now, 2 persons are said to have been killed and a police van set ablaze by some persons enforcing the 5-day sit-at-home order issued by a faction of the proscribed IPOB group in Ogun State, southeast Nigeria. According to an eyewitness, gunmen numbering over 10 stormed the New Market area within the Enugu metropolis in the early hours of today, shooting sporadically and scaring people away. In a statement by the State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Daniel Ndukwe, the command explained that normalcy has been restored to the area and the crack team deployed to hunt down the attackers. The police authorities are urging residents to go about their lawful business and disregard the 5-day sit-at-home order. In the meantime, the police in Zamfara State have repelled terrorist attacks on 2 communities under Zurmi and Shinkafi local government areas of the state. The spokesperson of the police command, Mohammed Shehu, says officers from the state command also arrested 10 suspected bandits collaborators in Gusau, the state capital. The spokesperson of the command says officers from the state command also arrested the suspected collaborators, as I said earlier on.
The suspects were arrested by police tactical operatives while on confidence building patrol. Also this time around, it was based on intelligence information that we received about what was contained in the vehicle of this suspect, and our operatives wasted no time in making sure that the suspects were intercepted and arrested, and large quantity of the right leaf suspected to be Indian hemp was recovered in their possession. Their own criminality is always to partner with bandits, intimidate villagers, to gather money and deliver to bandits.
And over to Imo State, where Governor Hope Uzodimma is asking traditional rulers across the 27 local government areas of the state to remain partners with the state government and security agencies in the fight against crime. Governor Uzodimma made this plea while donating operational vehicles to all the monarchs, as well as the chairman of the Imo State Council of Traditional Rulers and his deputies. The governor says this is in recognition of the major role which traditional institutions play in the growth and development of any society.
They support us in the fight against insecurity at the community level. Whatever you need that government can afford, we will make available. We must use and deploy civilized modus operandi in our operations. We want to control crime with little or no collateral damage. That is the reason this thing is still lingering. I can assure you, because this is Christmas, and we want our brothers and sisters out there to come home, we will step up the game. We will step up the game, and we will make sure, government will make sure that we will stop at nothing in ensuring that people will go about their businesses.
To infrastructure development, construction of the 54-kilometer Ngalda-Mutai Road in Fika local government area of Yobe State has commenced as part of the recovery interventions of the Northeast Development Commission, the NEDC. This, the managing director of the agency, Mr. Mohammed Al-Khali, says is proof of the NEDC's commitment to execute projects that will directly impact on the lives of the residents of the region. The project is expected to cost 12.5 billion naira.
It's good tidings for the residents of Ngalda and Mutai communities in Fika local government area of Yobe State. Most of them are farmers, and the plan to construct a 54-kilometer road to link both communities is music to their ears. The Northeast Development Commission is behind this project, which is expected to ease movement of farm produce, and they plan to do more.
It will recall that the construction of the 40-kilometer road from Gujuba to Mutai along the Gujuba-Ngalda road started earlier and is currently going on. Recently, the Federal Council approved the construction of the remaining 54 kilometers of the road by the Commission at the cost of about 12.2 billion naira. We are gathered here today to flag up this project, which is critical for improvement of security, livelihood, connectivity, and commercial activities, including transborder trade here in Yobe State.
The flagging of this road today, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is a testament of our commitment to the development, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of the whole of the Northeast State. I am not responding to the speech of the local government chairman, but I dare say you have not seen anything. We are still coming with more interventions, and God willing, they will all come to pass.
An elated Governor May Malabuni believes this project will complement the recovery efforts of governors in the region.
This project is therefore a commendable drive by the Northeast Development Commission, which conforms to our development pursuit in the state. Such complementary interventions will certainly go a long way in impacting positively on the lives of our people. Let me also appreciate other efforts of the Northeast Development Commission for the construction of the 500 mass housing units across the state, the distribution of relief materials to victims of insurgency and disasters.
The team also laid the foundation for the construction of a model mega school in Potoskum.
Well, similarly, some residents in Bayelsa State are commending the road infrastructure provided by the Niger Delta Development Commission, the NDDC. They also recount how the various roads constructed by the agency across the state served as major bypass and access to safer grounds during the flood. The residents who spoke to journalists during a media tour of NDDC projects in Bayelsa State also applauded the agency for helping them survive the recent devastating floods.
Since the beginning of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration in 2015, the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has so far initiated and completed 12 roads totaling 50 kilometers across Bayelsa State. They include the internal roads in the GRA axis of Yenagoa, Azikoro, Biogbolo, Etegwe, and Odoni, among others. According to residents in the area, these roads, constructed with special features to address the challenges associated with the coastal peculiarity of the state, was instrumental to helping the people survive the recent flood, as they serve as bypass and access to safer grounds.
Other times, you might just end up jamming your foot to a sharp object on the ground when you don't know what is inside the water.
This keke they tried until now used canoe because the depth of the water was too high for keke to move. But the road helped.
Vehicles also use this road as a bypass because the other road was also submerged.
In Azikoro, sections of the National Open University Road and Cemetery Road, among others, were not left out in the reconstruction.
We are so suffering before, but today, I so thank the people that bring this project here.
We are enjoying the road. Since NDDC do this road, everybody is enjoying it.
Oh, this road then I no go area because before, even though when you wear anything we wear, when you don't reach, you go pull out. We bless God. You can see that we're actually making a living from it already. So I think we're enjoying it, and it's a good one.
With the road projects tailored after the needs of benefiting communities, Bayelsa residents are optimistic that the NDDC will make even more impact if it sustains the pace.
I want to appreciate NDDC for the good work that they have done. This is one of the best roads in Bayelsa. With NDDC project that is going on, I believe that we'll have a road network connection in Bayelsa State.
A major road awaiting completion is the 39.2-kilometer east-west road that connects Bayelsa and River State, traversing 5 communities. The 10.8 billion naira project, which is already 75% complete, is expected to turn around the economy of the area when completed.
Well, more on the effects of flooding, this time in Anambra State, where the residents of Ogbara local government area are still counting their losses. Now, while normalcy seems to have returned to the area, the people are appealing to government at all levels to help them return to their farms and other businesses.
Tales of woe and anguish are all one hears in Atani, Ogbaru local government area of Anambra State, from the Cathedral of the Anglican Diocese, where the bishop is yet to fully describe what they went through during the days of heavy flooding in the surroundings where the water is yet to fully recede. The force of the winds from the flood pulled down the cathedral fence, while some signposts and portions of asphalted road are cracked and damaged.
2 of our churches were completely destroyed. And then fence, some of the fences, like this cathedral compound, the main entrance gate, the thing collapsed.
At the Anglican Seminary School in Atani, academic activities have resumed once again. The principal says the flood caused a 4-week shutdown, which affected the school heavily in many ways.
Some students coming for admission, they stayed at home, some of them changed school, and it greatly affected us. You can see the level of the flood on the walls of the school. The entire school was submerged with the flood. The access road also was submerged.
Life is gradually returning to normal within the community, a development that necessitated the closure of the temporary displaced persons camps. A community leader praises government efforts in the provision of relief materials, but is unable to measure the quantum of losses incurred as a result of the flood.
We have closed almost all the camps because by the time the water began to recede, on daily basis, people began to leave the camp. Because, like I told you, they are farmers who are ready to do the much they can to help themselves. So the moment the water began to recede, the camp was closed.
One of the huge losses is the collapse of this bridge linking Umunanko and Osomala communities, a problem that presents an opportunity for some youths who cash in on the challenge to make brisk business ferrying people across in canoes. Against all odds, business activities are fully commenced, especially rice processing and bagging. For the traders, however, their losses are unquantifiable and recovery can only be by God's grace.
We carry the cement today, tomorrow water come, carry it again, tomorrow I carry it go and hire house for another place. Almost there. The water still spoil everything. All these places, both rice, beans, gari, everything soak into water.
Meanwhile, good-spirited individuals are still donating relief materials to the flood victims. This time, Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo receives truckloads of relief materials, including bags of rice, beans, amongst other items, from the Emeka Ofo Foundation for the flood-affected people.
We have developed a distribution profile, which we have shared with SEMA, and is attached to our letter of donation, which will be handed over to you.
Here we are, Anambra, facing these emergencies, and now, well, we'll try to grapple with it. And I want to commend our officers. Well, we did the bit that we had to do as a responsible government, but also others, governmental organizations. NEMA came, did their own bit. Non-governmental organizations.
The Anambra state government is calling for a national response to the problem of erosion and flooding in the state.
Into the education sector, where over 500 students have graduated at the 12th convocation ceremony of Achievers University, Owo, Ondo State. 467 of them bagged bachelor's degrees, 30 of them with first-class honors, while 52 graduated from the postgraduate school of the university. Addressing the audience of the convocation ceremony, the founder and pro-chancellor of the institution, Dr. Bode Ayorinde, said the vision of the university is to be the best in Africa and one of the best in the world.
Members of the academic community in Achievers University, Owo, Ondo State, as well as guests, converged for the 12th convocation ceremony of the institution. Delivering his convocation address, the Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Samuel Ajay, says 24 out of the 25 programs being offered in the university are fully accredited by the Nigeria Universities Commission.
The 2022-2023 academic exercise is still ongoing, and the array of programs and the quality of staff and facilities available have contributed to making Achievers University the first point of call.
He appeals to the graduates to be prepared for a bright future and also be ready to overcome challenges.
You have taken the right steps and you have allowed us to mold, guide, prepare you for a bright future. The future is now in your hands. But remain guided by the motto of this university: knowledge, integrity, and leadership.
Some eminent guests present include the Ondo State Governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, represented by his Special Advisor on Education, Dr. Olawumi Ilawole. Founder and Pro-Chancellor of Achievers University, Dr. Bode Ayorinde, reveals the goals of the school in the next 5 years.
From about 800 staff now to over 1,000 staff, from 3,500 students to over 8,000 students, from a university with few research findings to a university leading in research for women and societal development. With hard work, perseverance, and determination, we shall achieve more than the targeted goals.
Akintayo Oluwatobi Daniel, the best graduating student with outstanding academic performance and leadership qualities during the 2021-2022 academic session.
The best graduating student, Oluwatobi Akintayo, delivers the valedictory address.
In my 4 years at Achievers University, I have developed every possible aspect of my overall well-being beyond mere academic attainment. Achievers University gave me a lifelong opportunity for personal growth and development.
Honorary doctorate degrees are awarded to 3 distinguished Nigerians: a former president of the Court of Appeal, Nigeria, Justice Ayo Salami, the paramount ruler of our kingdom, Oba Ajibade Ogunye, and the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isaac Pantami.
Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Science of Achievers University.
Out of the 467 bachelor degree holders, 30 got first class, 242 got second class upper, 152 got second class lower, while 19 got third class. This ceremony coincides with the 15th anniversary of the university, the first private university in Ondo State, which was granted an operating license on the 11th of December 2007 and commenced academic activities in April 2008 with 127 students.
Meanwhile, in Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike has challenged the management of the state university on the need for a new academic model that will match other tertiary institutions across the world. Well, Governor Wike gave this charge during the 34th convocation ceremony of the Rivers State University in the capital, Port Harcourt, where he was awarded an honorary doctorate degree in law.
It's the 34th convocation ceremony of the Rivers State University, and apparently the last to be marked by the institution as a monocampus educational institution. (1,668) graduates are to be awarded certificates in postgraduate diploma, master's degree, and Doctor of Philosophy, while 3,314 others are qualified for bachelor's degrees.
Let me use this opportunity to inform our distinguished audience that we have just concluded the National Universities Commission accreditation exercise for 2022, where 24 programs were presented for accreditation. The signals received so far from the exit meetings suggest that we will receive positive reports in respect of this accreditation exercise, which is now an annual ritual.
The awards are then conferred on deserving honorees, beginning with the visitor, Nyesom Wike, as well as the Pro-Chancellor of the university for his support to the institution, especially in restoring its multi-campus status. Governor Wike, an alumnus who is presiding over his last convocation as the visitor, dreams of the Rivers State University as the best on the African continent.
Rivers State University is a priceless asset we must continue to treasure, transform, project, and protect as a collective patrimony. Today's honor has reinforced my position as a proud alumnus with a lifelong commitment to the growth and progress of this university.
To achieve his dreams, Governor Wike is equally tasking the management of the school on new academic models.
To be relevant to the changing world, this university must be ready to benchmark its academic programs against global, not national or local standards. This means that the university must move away from the existing academic model, which mostly prides itself on processing graduates in their numbers after every 4 or 5 years.
The Pro-Chancellor of the university also speaks about the achievements recorded by the institution.
The Council and Senate of this university, in widening the scope of learning, established a College of Medical Sciences with faculties of basic medical sciences, basic clinical sciences, and clinical sciences. Other faculties established were communication and media studies, humanities, social sciences, and entrepreneurial studies.
For effective commencement of its multi-campus system, Governor Nyesom Wike announces a donation of 1 billion naira take-off grant to the institution.
And now to some more political stories. In Ogun State, Governor Dapo Abiodun has been speaking on the need for members of the APC in the state to put in their best to ensure that the party coasts to victory in the 2023 general elections. Addressing members of the Presidential Campaign Council in Abeokuta, the state capital, during the inauguration of a council secretariat, the governor asked them to ensure that all the candidates fielded by the party get elected to consolidate on what he has done in the last 3.5 years. It's just over 2 months to the 2023 general elections, and the Ogun State chapter of the All Progressives Congress APC is not leaving anything to chance, as former governors Chief Olusegun Oshoba and Otumba Gbenga Daniel joined Governor Dapo Abiodun and members of the party in Abeokuta, the state capital, for the inauguration of its campaign office. In his address, Chief Oshoba appeals to everyone present to put party interest above any other for victory.
Today is the beginning of our overcoming our challenge. we have no choice but to deliver heavily our votes in Ogun State to our presidential candidate, because we are the father of progressive and he is the candidate of the progressives, and we must make sure that we deliver heavily for all elections.
On his part, Governor Abiodun underscores the importance of the 2023 elections to the people of the state, adding that the Secretariat will provide members of the campaign council with the needed space to do their job.
As we unveil this campaign council, I urge you all to work together as a team. Even as we sell our programs and manifesto to the goodwill of Ogun State, we must work as hard as we did 3 years and 6 months ago. We must engage in constructive and issue-based campaign in line with the provisions of the electoral law and rule of engagement. Your appointment to this campaign is based on your track records and contribution to the growth and development of our party. We've tagged our campaign Igbega 2023 to underscore the continuity of our economic development and prosperity.
Thereafter, Governor Abiodun leads other dignitaries to cut the tape to commission the edifice.
To the glory of God and the success of all our candidates in the forthcoming 2023 elections.
On a programming note, the presidential and vice presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Atiku Abubakar and Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, will tomorrow, December the 11th, be guests at the town hall series organized by Channels Television and its partners in Abuja. They will answer wide-ranging questions on their agenda ahead of the 2023 presidential election. Time is 7 p.m. Our stories now. The role of technology in the growth of nations' economies cannot be underplayed. Recent governments at different levels are constantly seeking ways to encourage technological innovations. And in line with this, the Lagos State government has hosted the Art of Technology, which is a tech conference where speakers and participants brainstormed on designing processes that will enable Nigerians to take advantage of the technology age. The state government also seized the opportunity to talk about its progress on the Smart City project.
The fourth tech conference begins in Lagos as professionals, technology experts, students converge in a think tank with the theme Talent Acceleration and a Smarter Lagos. The tech fair hosted by Lagos State serves as a platform to groom talent for the future as the initiative hopes to drive seamless organizational activity.
Talent acceleration and smarter Lagos will be our focus. Therefore, we are creating a 10-year roadmap to widen the talent acceleration pipeline to achieve talent sustainability that will deliver the smarter Lagos.
What is the 65,000 people that do STEM?
For those who are unaware of the technology fair, which seeks to deepen innovation, science and technology lessons in young Nigerians, a brief of the journey so far speaks volume on achievements recorded in Lagos State.
Our first AOT event brought the first Lagos State Innovation and Technology Master Plan. That master plan had a number of pillars that we said to ourselves that if we can intervene with certain initiatives in these pillars, we think that the ecosystem will be the better for it.
Some students who enrolled for the technology competition in Lagos were rewarded.
He's a very shy boy, so please trust him or your special advisor or the deputy governor.
The state government reiterates policy plans and investments in technology to set the pace for others to follow.
Our administration contribution is evidenced in the different implementations and initiatives contained in Lagos State's first Innovation and Technology Master Plan, a plan which was launched during the first edition of the Art of Technology event showcase. The master plan contains multiple strategic pillars which cascade in multiple tactical initiatives.
After a tour of some of the spaces, the Deputy Governor speaks more on plans to enhance the lifestyle of Lagosians through technology.
The essence is to use technology to manage education, and then of course e-health and so on and so forth. So we are deploying technology to assist our teachers, to assist the students, to assist our doctors and so on and so forth.
The two-day event will feature plenary sessions and breakout syndicate meetings aimed at building resilient talent for digital transformation, globalization, and the use of technology in everyday life.
Well, let's switch gears now. It's time for business news on the news at 10 with Willie Bung.
Thanks, Kayode. Now, as part of its efforts to end the fuel crisis and increase supply of petrol in the country, the federal government has named additional filling stations to operate a 24-hour service in the Federal Capital Territory. The filling stations, currently 23 in number, include NNPC Mega Zone 4, Shema Airport Road Service Station, Adova Apo, AA Rano Nyanya, and Sarba Kuba Road Mega Service Station. Now, the nation's rising population, as well as the need to ensure food security, has come to the fore as agri-experts seek for ways to support farmers on how to mitigate the impact of flooding and other challenges that may affect the nation's food security. Speaking at a meeting with representatives of the All Farmers Association in Abuja, an agri-expert and organizer of the Feed Nigeria Summit, Mr. Richard Mark Mbaram, explains that funding and adequate policies has become necessary to feed the nation's poor, which has been estimated at 133 million.
Fathers, mothers are living in poverty. And I dare tell you that when it is the government itself, through its agency, institutionally putting out the numbers we're talking about now, then it tells you that we are in a serious, serious crisis. Why do I say so? Our population size is about 220 million people. If we have 133 million of the 220 million living in poverty, it is more than half the populace. And it tells us that indeed, a state of emergency, whether or not declared, exists. It is in the light of that this year's Feed Nigeria Summit assumes a radical posture, knowing that we have on our hands a situation that, if not addressed comprehensively, will in itself open up the country to more profound existential challenges.
Now, the equities market has extended its bullish momentum for the fourth consecutive week, its best winning streak since May. And this week's positive close was driven largely by the gains recorded by top cement player Boa Cement. The all-share index closed 1.51% higher at 48,881 points, with the month-to-date and year-to-date gains rising to 2.6% and 14.4%. Activity levels mirrored the market's broad gauge as trading volume and value surged by 45.8% and 22.8% week on week. Now, across sectors, the industrial goods index recorded the most significant gain, followed by consumer goods, insurance, and oil and gas. The banking index was the sole loser for the week. Boa Cement topped the gainers chart for the week, while Score Nigeria PLC led the underperforming stocks. The trio of UPDC Real Estate Investment Trusts, FBN Holdings, and Transnational Corporation contributed 62.47% and 28.09% to the total volume and value traded in the week. Now, forex market trading activities at the FMDQ exchange was mostly negative this week, as the total turnover of transactions carried out at the FX port Forwards and futures markets fell by 16.29% week-on-week to $776.39 million. However, total value of transactions at the FX spot market, and that's the INE window, climbed by 21.15% to $745.32 million. While transactions at the FX derivatives market dipped by about 90% to $31.07 million. Meanwhile, the Naira's value fell by 0.05% to 444 Naira 63 kobo against the dollar at the NAFEX window, while when compared to last week's close of 444 Naira 43 kobo. And that's a wrap on business news. It's back to Kayode for the rest of the news at 10.
Well, thank you, Will. To company news now. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is planning to invest over 1 trillion naira to revamp select Nigerian roads, which is coming months after announcing the release of 621 billion naira for a similar purpose. The group chief executive of the company, Mr. Melekiari, made this known during an inspection of the ongoing construction of the Agbara-Badagry Road project, which is part of the 21 federal roads the state-owned oil companies funding. The project is being executed under the tax credit scheme following Executive Order 007, which was signed by President Muhammadu Buhari.
The Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, accompanied by officials of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, arrives the Bidda-Lambata Road in Niger State to inspect the ongoing road construction, one of the roads being executed by the company under the tax credit scheme, which is empowered by Executive Order 007. The order, which was signed by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019, is a scheme for public-private partnership interventions in critical roads across the country, and the NNPC Limited is one of the companies that keyed into the scheme.
Invest up to 621 billion naira at the first phase of road intervention across the country in 21 federal roads, totaling over 1,800 kilometers. This is just one of them. We will deliver them. By the time we are done, there will be extensive improvement in infrastructure, particularly road infrastructure in our country.
The paramount ruler in the area responds to the development.
In cooperation with the NNPC, under the leadership of the GMD, to ensure that money is being provided. Because we believe strongly, it's one thing to have something in mind, and it's another thing actually to implement it or to execute it, to make it work.
The Lagos-Badagry Expressway is one of the 21 roads that the company has taken over under the scheme.
From what we can see, the intervention from NNPC has taken this project from 10% to 40% in a very short time. And we have achieved a lot. And you can see that the contractor is still working. And what they have done already is quality work, which everybody has attested to. And they are ready to complete this project with the funding that is going to be provided for them.
The NNPC says it keyed into the scheme to ensure efficient and sustainable petroleum products distribution across the country.
Sports news now. Olivier Giroud has scored the winner and Harry Kane missed a late penalty as holders France defeated England 2-1 in a tense encounter to reach the 2022 FIFA World Cup semi-finals. Aurelien Tchouameni had swept France into a first-half lead, only for Kane to equalize from the spot 9 minutes into the second half. France went back in front when Giroud headed home with 11 minutes left. Kane then blazed his second penalty off the game over the bar as England's wait to win her first major international trophy since the 1966 World Cup goes on. France remain on course to become the first side since Brazil 6 years ago to successfully defend the World Cup. France will face Morocco on Wednesday, December the 14th for a place in the final. And Morocco have become the first African nation to reach the semi-finals of the World Cup, as Youssef En-Nesyri's first-half winner added Portugal to the list of shocked teams in Qatar. And En-Nesyri profited on a mistake from Portugal goalkeeper Diogo Costa to head home the historic strike, but not only Walid Rodriguez's side, but the entire African continent. Morocco's shock run to the last four, which has seen them defeat Belgium, Spain and Portugal, and concede just one goal in 5 matches. The Atlas Lions have surpassed the 3 other African sides to reach the quarterfinals. That's Cameroon in 1990, Senegal in 2002, and Ghana in 2010. Meanwhile, Moroccan fans have taken to the streets in the capital, Rabat, to show their pride at reaching the semi-final of the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Horns were blasting and Moroccan flags were said to be everywhere on the road. It is the first time any African country has reached World Cup semi-final. Celebrations were also seen in Casablanca, Marrakesh, Fez and Agadir. Moroccan coach Walid Regragui has commended the battling spirit of his injury-hit side. Regragui said Morocco will now aim for another step further toward another victory to secure a ticket to the final. Well, that's a wrap on Sports News. I'm Victor Matthias. Thank you for watching. Akaide, I was almost joining in that celebration. What about you? Indeed, Victor, I'm hoping to join in the celebration if and when they win the finals. But let's go to the foreign scene where the United States says Iran is now Russia's top military backer, saying that the relationship between both countries has warmed to a fully fledged defense partnership. According to U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby, his country has seen reports that the two countries are considering joint production of lethal drones. But this comes after Ukraine accused Iran of supplying Russia with what has been described as kamikaze drones used in deadly attacks on October the 17th, which Tehran later admitted sent in Moscow a limited number of drones many months before the war. However, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky had disputed this, saying that many more Iranian drones were being used. Severe conditions are causing travel disruption, with a small chance that rural communities could be cut off in the United Kingdom. Well, temperatures are forecast to hit minus 10 degrees Celsius in some areas, and a yellow warning is in place for snow and ice for Scotland, Wales and southwest England. On Sunday, the warning for snow spreads to include London and in the southeast, and it warns that power cuts and mobile phone coverage might be affected, and the weather conditions could lead to more travel disruption, especially in the coming week. And on a programming note, checking in, the presidential and vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Atiku Abubakar, and Governor Ifeanyi Okowa will tomorrow, December the 11th, be guests at the Town Hall series organized by Channels Television and its partners in Abuja. They will answer wide-ranging questions on their agenda ahead of the 2023 presidential election, and time is 7 p.m. And the main news again. President Muhammadu Buhari today told members of his party, APC, that only by working together will they win in next year's general elections. He stated this in Dora, his hometown, during a meeting with the APC governorship candidate in Katsina State. And that's the news at 10 for tonight, everyone. Thank you for watching. I'm Kayode Bikilu. To have a wonderful night ahead.